What's up, guys? RaeReinhartz Chaos Astrologer. Better late than never. Apologize. So today's the 12th for the record of August 2018. Yesterday was the solar eclipse, partial. It's going over Europe. It's also another reason why I primarily I've been super busy. And hey, it's Mercury retrograde. It's a delayed conversation, right? So solar eclipse for August 11th, Saturday, 2018. It's in Leo. So it'll deflect to all of its counterparts, which is Aquarius. That's the polarity. So the cause and effect with astrology, if the cause is the eclipse in Leo, the effects will manifest in the polarity, which is Aquarius. Aquarius is a trauma signature, and it has to deal with the 11th house, as the sociological institutions, and the collective society as a whole. It is a faction of Saturn as well, not just in ancient astrology, but talking about like in governments. So the facilitations of government bodies is what is attributed to that. So trauma signature, always when there's an eclipse in Leo, trauma signatures are always attributed to that. It's important to look at, if you're going to look at individual charts for people or individual organizations or countries per se, it's important to know the dynamic of the country that is seeing the eclipse, because that's where it will be influencing, to determine what the actual effects would be. I don't know the charts for where the countries where it's going over. I'm not going to go into that. But I'll actually screen cap it. Let me do this here. Print screen. Well, that's coming up anyway. I'll show you the actual image of where the actual eclipse was seen. It's going over parts of Greenland and over, it's just north of the United Kingdom. It's going through Sweden, Finland, Russia, Kazakhstan, and parts into China. So trauma signature with the south would be those countries in particular. So sociological things, the migrant crisis. Sweden's obviously one of the main contenders that's dealing with a lot of that. China recently getting angry or upset with the destabilization of the China Sea. That plays into that as well. The issues going on in Russia, primarily a lot of international things basically going heads with Russia, regardless if it's fictitious or not. I'm not going to go there. That's the general gist. Another thing I want to keep in mind, why I'm mentioning this, is solar eclipses are localized. So I'm not trying to make fun of people per se, but for all those people that say, this is a great awakening time and for everyone. No. Let's talk about that kind of shit when there's lunar eclipses, okay? Okay? Luna, the moon, affects the soul and the essence of all humanity. Save your mimi shit for lunar eclipses. Solar eclipses are primarily omens, and they give some sort of hindsight or foreshadowing of sociological trends. So again, even though it's not right in the middle of the path, all of Europe will be affected by this. So Spain, France, Germany, Poland, Italy, Romania, Ukraine, Turkey, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, all those places will be within the line of this. And also to the polarity of that, the exact polar opposite area that will be affected will be Antarctica, South Africa, Madagascar, Botswana, and Malaysia, Indonesia, and a part of Australia. Keep that in mind. Those are the main places being affected by this. Those coordinates actually are ruled by Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So beliefs and foreign issues, primarily a foreign invasion, toxicity of said clashing with foreign invasion, be affecting the peace or the law or the balance of the countries in general. That's the gist of that. When we look at the chart, for this eclipse. We have the North Node in the first house. This is going to be the immediate effects of this. We have nothing in the fourth house. And then we have... So this isn't anything... all the things that are transpiring are nothing new. This is an escalating thing from past events. Then in the seventh house of repercussions of the North Node, which would be associated with the actual eclipse, because the North Node's in Leo, we have Pluto there, Mars, Black Moon Lilith, and the South Node. So a reoccurring issue that will be traumatic in nature is going on. That has to do with the Islamic invasion, migration, whatever you want to call it. That's been a thing for hundreds, thousands of years. Goes all the way back to the 300 movie. Go watch it. It's exactly the same. Put some hijabs and everything on all the women. Persia is Islam. This is nothing new. That's exactly what the chart insinuates. In the 10th house of now, we have Uranus and Eris in that house. They're both in different signs now, because Uranus is now into Taurus, but it still applies. There being a trauma signature with the self, so instead of this being the actual war or invasion-like thing that was going on when Eris and Uranus were in Aries, it's now, they've invaded, they've infiltrated, and now they're actually tainting or destroying the land. And that's going to be caused by deviant behavior. The agenda to do so, the people allowing this to happen, is elusive to everybody, because Hades and Cancer in the 12th house of the unknown. For the future houses, we have Mercury, Pallas, Vulcan, and that eclipse, as well as Trans-Pluto in the second house, meaning that some of these countries are actually seeing what is happening and saying, wait a second, maybe we don't want to go along with the New World Order, maybe we don't want to let all the Muslims in, maybe we're thinking twice. And that does continue on because Jupiter is in the 5th house of self. That's beliefs, and the tainted beliefs or whatever, the toxic ideations, are now taking a second look, more or less. And that we have a trauma signature ruling the 8th house of self secrets, meaning that the continuation of unfolding or revealing the negative repercussions of the people in charge, the self, the countries, are going to be coming to light now. That's more than evident too, because every time Neptune is retrograde, that's where the veil is lifted. So we still have Neptune retrograde, which, that one's in the 9th house, by the way. That's a past house. So the past trifling agendas of either the EU, the United Nations, the countries, the New World Order, whoever's, pressuring all these countries to accept the migrants, all of their bullshit is now being revealed. See, this is another reason why I'm not going to even humor what this could mean on a symbolic level for people, because I'm talking about real events. This chart primarily spells out some trifling shit is now coming out of the woodworks, and people are actually starting to learn the truth. That's the gist of the eclipse that just happened. And just while we're here, I guess, anybody would like to know the future eclipses, when those will be. I'm not going to go into those right now, but let's do... January 6, 2019, we'll have a partial. That'll be in the south. And then July 2nd, 2019, we'll have a total. That will be in the north. And yeah, that's the gist of that. Solar, lunar. Okay, that's it. Yeah. There's your solar eclipse video. Ta-da! Awesome! Have a good rest of your Mercury retrograde. It ends on the 19th of August.